A source produces sound waves that interact with our ears, allowing us to perceive specific sounds. So we can see here. Similarly, when light reflects off an object, it forms an image on the retina of our eyes, enabling us to observe or visualize that object. This reflects light is also in the form of the waves which our eyes senses. Thus we can see that both our ears and eyes detect waves. Furthermore, that the signals used by the electronic devices are also transmitted in the form of waves. We can see in the example of some electronic devices. Let me suppose an example. There are two observers A and B, and observer A produces some jerk in the rope, and this rope moves in the form of some pulse towards the observer B. So on the basis of this experiment, we can define the waves as, so waves are actually the disturbance or mechanism by which energy and momentum is transferred. Specifically, this point is most important, without transporting matter. So in this rope, matter is not transporting but only energy and momentum. So dear viewers, we classified the waves basically in two types. One is progressive or traveling waves, and second stationary or standing waves. But first we are just discussing about the progressive or traveling waves. Progressive or traveling waves are those in which all the particles are in motion, the waves which transfer energy and momentum in moving away from source of disturbance. Waves which do not reflect back are called progressive or traveling waves. So this is an example for the traveling waves. If we try to understand this experiment in the form of some discrete particles of this rope, then we can observe that the particle displaces but comes back on its initial position when the pulse moves towards the observer B. So for the progressive or traveling waves, this is a demonstration for traveling waves. So traveling waves in which all the particles are in motion, the waves which transfer energy and momentum in moving away from source of disturbance, here we can see that is observer A. And the waves which do not reflect back are called the progressive or traveling waves. So this is an experiment which can be easily and interestingly comprehensive. Now let we try to understand the standing or stationary waves in which one string is tied from both ends with some fixed support. And if we pluck it from the middle of the string, then we see that the loop is one loop standing waves are produced in that string. These are actually the stationary or standing waves. Now another thing very important, if we plug the string from the center of the center, then there will be two loops in these strings and stationary waves are produced. So we can define the stationary waves in some specific definition. The waves in which some particles do not move are called stationary or standing waves. So progressive or traveling waves has the two types. One is the electromagnetic waves, which we observe from the sun. The radiations in the form of heat and light are moving towards the earth are electromagnetic radiations, and these waves do not require medium for their propagations. So these are the electromagnetic one. But there is another case. This is called mechanical waves. The waves which require medium for their propagations are called mechanical waves. For example, no sound produced due to these explosions on the sun. So the waves which require medium for their propagations are the mechanical waves, and sound waves are actually the mechanical waves. So we can say the sound can't reach on the surface of earth. Now we can classify the mechanical waves as the transfer waves and longitudinal waves. Longitudinal waves are also called the compressional waves. First we will discuss the transfer waves. The waves in which the disturbance of the particles of the medium is perpendicular to the direction of the propagation of waves. So this is a demonstration in which the disturbance of the particle of the medium is actually perpendicular to the direction of the propagation of waves. So waves in the string, waves. So this is an experiment for the transfer waves. But it is somewhat different in case of longitudinal or compressional waves. In case of compressional waves, in which the motion of the particles of the medium is along the direction of the propagation of wave, this is called longitudinal or compressional waves. So example of sound waves or pressure waves, here the compression and rarefactions are produced. So we can understand this experiment to clearly comprehend the basic concepts of compression and rarefactions.